I think it's really important students join lecturers on picket lines, because obviously while lecturers are striking about attacks on their pay and pensions, it's not just about that, it's about the wider cuts to education, it's about course closures, it's about job losses. But it's going to affect students' education as much as lecturers. And we're down here trying to convince students not to go and to join the picket lines. And obviously, you know, we've been involved in the Stop the Cuts group here at uni, and a lot of the lecturers have been supportive in fighting the fees rise, and now it's our turn to support them, I think.
I'm here to support my lecturers because they support me. I think the impact that the cuts are having across the board is pretty horrific, and as far as I'm concerned, any strike by the workers is something I'm willing to support.
Why are we here today? We're here to defend our pension. We're here to fight for pay and job security, and we're here to defend education as a whole, not just for ourselves, but for future generations of teachers and students.
I think it's important to be out here for not just to support the strikers over their jobs and pensions, but also for the quality of education, because alongside the attacks to education and cutting off of education to people from a poorer background, we're also going to see a damaging of the quality of education with less non-academic services and fewer staff members, less choice and academic freedom, and this is part of a wider struggle to retain the education that we've got and try and improve it.
And I'm out here supporting our lecturers and other UCU staff members who are out on strike today, both to defend their pensions, because it's really important that you know that the staff are defending their futures and things that they're putting money into, but also the struggle over jobs, which is going to be central to the whole of the education system in this country in the future. We know that once jobs are attacked, the whole education system itself is attacked, and it gives way for departments to be closed and for the whole university system itself to begin to crack and to be privatised. So it's really important that students are out here today supporting their lecturers and staff in the struggle for pensions and jobs and for a better society.
If you look at the work of Jacques Rancière in understanding what he understands as politics, I mean, he says you could go and get elected as part of the Students' Union, but you wouldn't be being political in that sense, because you're very much part of what's already been distributed and what's already been made up. Being political is when you go into a lecture theatre and say, this isn't a lecture theatre anymore, this is a space for us to be able to create something different and something new and something unique, or it's to be able to stand on the picket line to say, today we're standing in solidarity as something other than lecturers. We're turning our university and the space outside of university into something else. That's when politics happens.
George, where is it gone?
No education cuts! No ifs, no buts! No education cuts! No ifs, no buts! No education cuts! No ifs, no buts! No education cuts!
Today was the best strike day in the history of the University of Brighton, in the history of the UCU and the predecessor union NATFE that we've ever had. It was a day that closed. And we owe our gratitude to the students who came out in their multitudes and joined us on the picket line. I think that signals something else, something grander, something political. That not only us defending education, not only are the trade unionists in the public sector, but actually the vast mass of the population of this country is waiting for the TUC to get up off its knees and mount a fight back, and to do it sooner rather than later.
hope this strike will send a strong message and a clear message to employers that rather than hiding behind government cuts, they need to negotiate fully with staff to find ways of protecting education into the future. I believe that fair pensions are worth fighting for. I believe that fair pay is worth fighting for. And I think that our education system is worth fighting for. And Greens are supporting UCU staff up and down the country, and we'll continue to fight alongside you. What we should be doing right now is investing in jobs, investing in education, investing in our future. Not only that, but when they say, well, there's no money to do that, I think, again, another myth to nail. What about cracking down on the huge amount of tax evasion and tax avoidance? Yesterday George Osborne admitted that there was easily 14 billion worth of tax avoidance and evasion that was fairly easy to follow up. I mean, that's a really conservative estimate. Actually, there's far more than that. But even George Osborne admits there's 14 billion worth, and in the budget he decided to go for just 1 billion of it. Well, what's happened to the other 13 billion? Why are they throwing people out of work at the HMRC, at the Tax and Revenue Office, instead of putting more people into work to track down those people on high incomes who are basically trying to evade tax? Why aren't we cracking down with proper windfall taxes on bankers' bonuses and on the banks themselves? Why aren't we cancelling Trident, for example, which will give you a huge amount of money in a pretty short time? So there are plenty of alternatives if this government was serious about wanting to find them. And so I think that's what tomorrow is, I keep saying tomorrow, I think it's Friday, it was Friday. But that's what Saturday is going to be all about, and that's why I think it's just so important that we're there and that we show David Cameron that the big society isn't a nice needlework club in some village hall. The big society is all of us on the streets demanding alternatives. Thank you.